A 28-year-old student with no criminal history broadcasts a Facebook Live video while holding a pistol. Bharat Bhushan Tiwari was protesting the condition of his village. As shown here, Balaudi was routinely swallowed by floodwaters, and he was using the broadcast to demand basic infrastructure: roads, electricity, and flood relief. Within hours of the video ending, the police arrived at his home. By the next morning, the student was dead. A protest over missing civic amenities ended in a fatal encounter. The outcome has sparked protests across Bihar, forcing an investigation into how a theatrical plea for help resulted in lethal violence. According to the official police report, the special task force and local police were met with gunfire. They claim Bharat fired 8 to 10 rounds at them, and they shot him 4 to 5 times in self-defense. However, shortly after the shooting, the Bihar police suspended the Shahpur station house officer and 3 other involved officers. If a team returns fire in a life-threatening situation, they are typically protected by protocol. These suspensions suggest a breach of that protocol, contradicting the self-defense narrative and requiring an examination of 3 conflicting accounts. The first account comes from Bharat's family. They cite video evidence suggesting he had his hands up and had thrown his weapon down to surrender before the shots were fired. Standard police protocol for a half encounter involves aiming for the legs to disable a suspect. In this case, the shot struck vital organs, leading to his death. In a country where the state often negotiates surrenders with armed insurgents, the family is questioning why a surrendering student in distress was met with immediate lethal force. The second account comes from the government. Deputy Chief Minister Samrat Chaudhry stated the Director General of Police identified Bharat as having a mental health crisis, and the plan was to transport him to a hospital. Bharat was eventually brought to this medical facility, but only after he had been fatally wounded by police fire. This creates a contradiction in the operation. If leadership knew they were dealing with a psychiatric emergency, the protocol for the ground team would be de-escalation rather than the use of lethal force. Framing the event as a mental health crisis highlights a failure in execution. The ground team treated a patient as a combatant. To understand the probability of a staged encounter, we have to look at the legal protections for police. Officers who survive a genuine shootout while following the law are rarely disciplined. This logic tree shows a suspension indicates protocol was breached. It suggests Bharat didn't fire, or officers used unlawful force. Furthermore, the two-way firefight theory is weakened because no police officers reported injuries during the exchange. The state's own administrative action, suspending its officers, serves as an admission that the initial account of the encounter was flawed. The Supreme Court established strict guidelines for these incidents. Police can use lethal force as a last resort only when all other capture methods fail. Under Section 103 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, killing a surrendering or mentally ill person is classified as murder. If the investigation proves the protocol was ignored, the officers involved could face life imprisonment. To resolve these conflicting accounts, the case requires a magistrate's probe, forensic evidence on shot distance, and an independent autopsy report. While the law provides these protections, the final outcome depends on whether the local system allows for a transparent investigation into its own officers. Bharat's death is a test of how the system functions when a citizen is killed during a police operation. The central question remains: when a citizen's actions are driven by the failure of local infrastructure, should the state respond with a trial or a bullet? The line between police authority and extrajudicial force is thin. An impartial investigation is the only way to determine if that line was crossed in Shahpur. Tell us your thoughts in the comments.